last 2 years when it came to the quarterback position and the wide receiver position. And I think they're kind of thumbing their nose at Ray Farmer and his crew saying, well, you got me nothing except older and slower and less explosive. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to play him because I'm going to show you that they can't get active on a roster. In Dwayne Bowe's case. In Johnny's case, I think they don't trust the fact that he's not going to get punished by the league for his off-the-field incident going back to mid-October. And I think they're legitimately worried that if they give him starter reps this week and the league comes down either this afternoon or tomorrow afternoon before game time and says he's suspended, they have zero practice time if a guy like Austin Davis needs to play.
But is he not taking starter reps anyway with McCown not practicing Wednesday or Thursday?
He took starter reps Wednesday. McCown did actually get on the field yesterday in a limited basis. So I think the starter reps were a little bit skewed more towards Josh at that point. But even still, whether McCown is able to play, or if he's able to play, rather, he's going to play because the coaching staff has seen what he could do, and they're going to put him out there. They know he's tough as nails. And I think that in addition to whether Johnny can make plays, it's also, you could look at it from the positive side, and they're trying to extend Johnny's career because they know this quote-unquote elite offensive line is Swiss cheese and trash right now, and they're playing like it, and they don't think that Johnny's going to be able to withstand the punishment. 6'4", 225 solid pounds, versus 5'11" and 3/4, allegedly, at 210 pounds, it is not going to withstand the same amount of punishment. Johnny could, if he goes out there and he starts against Calais Campbell and Dwight Freeney, he won't make it to the third quarter. I said on the record last week that if he started against St. Louis, he wouldn't have made it to halftime because there were some violent hits out there, and I don't think, he may have been able to step up in the pocket and avoid some of the punishment, but he's still very tiny, and I think the coaching staff questions his durability.
So conservativeness leads to Josh McCown over Johnny Manziel. I know. I'm with you. Listen, Matt, that's all well and good, and maybe it was a smart move so Johnny didn't get his head knocked off. But I'm sick of playing a loser in Josh McCown. And again, I don't doubt his leadership. Seems like a great guy, stand-up guy, and you have to admire at 36. He could come in and collect a paycheck. He could Dwayne Bowe it. He could say, hey, yeah, my ankle hurts. I'm going to sit back and collect my $3.5 million. Doesn't do that. So all the credit in the world. But guess what, Matt? He's a loser, a perennial loser. So the coaching staff, which is ultra-conservative, well, maybe Johnny isn't ready. Well, guess what? I know in Josh McCown, he's going to put up some decent numbers. The team around him on both sides of the ball isn't good enough, so it doesn't all fall on Josh. But in the end, we are going to lose. That's what I know. That's what I've come to expect under Josh McCown. I still don't know what I have in Johnny. What I do know is that they both have one win. That's what I know. And I want to see at some point for an extended period, not 3 games, not 2 games. I want to see for an extended stretch what Johnny Manziel could be. Because Josh McCown can very well be on this roster next year if they want a safety net, if they draft a guy. But the worst scenario, Matt, is having Johnny play a couple games, and then it's, well, still don't know what we have. All right, bring him back. Show me Johnny.
Well, I think that's exactly what's going to happen, though, if you want to be truthful about it.
Come on.
I know that it is horrible to say, and you hate to hear it as a fan, but I legitimately, after watching this coaching staff, figure out what they're doing what they're doing right now, I don't think that's not out of the realm of possibility because they're trying to keep jobs here, and they're going to go with the guy that they think can win the most amount of games. And ultimately, having Manziel on the roster is a double-edged sword. If you play him and he gets the you-know-what knocked out of him, they're going to say it's scheme-related, and or at least the front office will say it's scheme-related and that Johnny wasn't given the best chance for success. If you play him, or if you don't play him, and you lose, you're going to get fired anyway.
Sure.
So regardless of what you do with Manziel, he's a coach killer because he's going to get somebody fired one way or the other. Because even if he sucks and can't play, Ray Farmer and Mike Pettner gone. If he doesn't play and they don't know what they have yet, then it makes it real easy for Jimmy to say, Mike, I loved you when I hired you 2 years ago, but you didn't play my quarterback.
Yep.
So you got to go.
Got to go.
And I ultimately think that this is the hill that Pettin and DiFilippo and the offensive coaches are going to die on, because I don't see Jimmy waiting another year through bad football and saying, yeah, you know what, Johnny's not ready yet, because he doesn't know football. The guys he hired are supposed to be the guys that know football.
He's a fan.
And if they're telling me that Johnny's not ready, then you have to trust that Johnny's not ready. But at what point is the kid going to be?
Yeah.
Like, he's been on the roster for 2 years now, and if he's still immature and loses focus because he's not playing, whatever, I mean, then he tells me all I need to know about what he's actually going to be in the pros anyway, and maybe that's why they don't play him. We don't know what he's like behind closed doors. They say all the right things, that
good.
he's, been a class guy, been A+ in the building. That could be a bunch of coach speak. We don't actually know that for sure. What we do know is that he can't get on the field for a team that's 2-5, and that would be cause for concern for anybody who either selected him or has to find a way to coach him. And this whole notion that, and this isn't a shot against you, this is, a shot against another reporter in the Cleveland area who, when asked all the time why there's such a big infatuation with Johnny football, explaining myself a little bit more, this reporter is from an SEC school, and he said, well, he tore up the best conference in America that's not in the NFL for 2 straight years, and my counterpoint to that was, but he still never won a title. He never won a championship.
And it's college.
At the collegiate level, not even I'm not even talking a national championship. I'm talking a conference championship. Cardale Jones has won a national championship. J.T. Barrett won a Big Ten championship. And neither one of those guys have the swag that a guy who won an individual award, not a championship with a team, got when he came out in the draft. So that's just a little bit of a point to say that, hey, this kid may rack up a ton of statistics, but he might be a Josh McCown too. He may win you a couple games here, a couple games there, but he's not a championship-winning quarterback.
No, it's a fair point, but the thing is, Matt, we won't know unless we see him. And I just hate if this is a stance, and it is looking more and more like that of, hey, well, this is what we think, and you drafted him, so posturing for trying not to get fired. Guess who loses? The fans lose because you're not necessarily putting the best product on, and you're politicking on both sides.
They don't care about the fans. Honestly, if they cared about the fans, they would have drafted a hell of a lot better.
I want to win.
Look at they don't find winners. They find grinders. They find tough, physical football players that just grind and they work hard.
But they don't.
Enough with the bull, you-know-what, about working hard. I want winners on this team. Go give me players that play. Okay, first of all, get them on the field.
Yeah.
Secondly, get players that know how to win, not people that were part of winning organizations, because I believe that on the periphery you could have 5 to 7 guys that don't really know what it takes to win, and they happen to be on a New England Patriots team or on a New Orleans Saints team when they were good.
Or Seattle.
They weren't necessarily leaders. You need leaders of men. And unfortunately, the best you got right now are Carlos Dansby and Josh McCown, neither one of which have ever played in a Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, it's fair. It's fair. And let's hope that they can catch the Cardinals again on that short week and traveling cross country and looking forward to the bye and the Seattle Seahawks up next. Maybe I don't buy it with Bruce Arians as head coach, but maybe the players can get tricked into that, and that's where the Browns can pounce. See, it's the I guess the Halloween episode, Matt. We're resorting to trickery here and hope. All right, but that's oh boy. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's get to our sportsinteraction.com money bets of the week.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
There we go. SportsInteraction.com, sponsor of the Doghouse, your inside look at the Cleveland Browns. Andy McNamara alongside Matt Fleur-Jancic. And so if you go to SportsInteraction.com, Matt, and the thing I love about SportsInteraction.com is you can, the more I dig around the site, the better I find it is, because you have the spread. You have the normal spread, but then you can also make your own spread. So if it's 7, you're like, you know what, I think they're going to win by 10. You can lay money down like that too. You can bet straight winners, over, under, all the big sports. And again, go sportsinteraction.com /Browns, Sports Interaction /Browns, and as a special, because you're a listener of the Doghouse, they will match up to $200 of your first deposit. So you put $200 down, they'll give you $400. You put $20 down, you got $40 in the account. Lots of fun. So let's go to AFC North battle. Cincinnati Bengals, undefeated, into Pittsburgh to play the Steelers, and Big Ben Roethlisberger is back, not 100%, but an almost healthy Big Ben is still better than what they had at quarterback. Matt, as far as it's almost a pick 'em. The money line is closed right now at sportsinteraction.com. You can go back and check it out, but to pick just the winner, it's $1.91 each. Who are you taking?
I'll go with the Bengals. Like you said, it's a pick'em game, and in the weekly, fun pool that we do, my cousin and I picked every game the same except for this one. He went with Pittsburgh, I went with Cincinnati. So somebody's gaming the game on somebody this week. I just think the Bengals are, this is a fool me once type of situation where they play really good in the regular season, and I think they're actually a little bit better than they have been in past years. So I'm going to stick with them until they prove me wrong. So if they lose this week, then we'll see how I go from there. But I like the Bengals in this matchup.
I'm going to go the other way, man. I'm going to say Pittsburgh. The emotion of having Ben Roethlisberger back, he's going to be dealing. Antonio Brown, is going to be psyched. I pick a big day out of him, and it's at home. If it was on the road, maybe a different story. I think this is going to be a slug-it-out, high-scoring affair, two potent offenses, and on the Pittsburgh side anyway, a suspect defense. But I think just on emotion, Pittsburgh edges out the Bengals and gives them the first loss of the season. All right, other AFC North game, the San Diego Chargers, another team coming from west to east to play the Baltimore Ravens. Last place, at least for now, in the AFC North. The the Chargers are favored by 3.5. Who do you like?
I'll take the Chargers. The Ravens have burned me a few times this year. I just think that the Chargers are a better ball club. The Ravens haven't gotten their you-know-what together yet, and I don't think that this week is going to be the week either. They had an opportunity to get one a couple weeks ago against a very poor San Francisco team, and they still couldn't find a way to win the ball game. I know it's a 3-hour time difference, but remember we're falling back, so it's really only a 2-hour time difference for San Diego, and I think Phillip Rivers is a better quarterback right now than with his weapons than Joe Flacco is with his weapons.
Oh, that's a good point. I forgot about the time back, that it isn't as big of an effect. Okay. You're onto something there, Florjancic. That's interesting. I'm going to say Chargers, too, though. I'm going to say Chargers, too. Ravens are just clearly not themselves. Injuries, weapons not available. So the Chargers come in. Phillip Rivers upends the Bengals. They're 3.5. I think they can probably win by 5 or by at least a touchdown, I'd say. Now, our game, Arizona Cardinals. And again on Twitter, at AndyMC81, at Matt Florjancic. Weigh in. Cardinals, 5.5-point favorites up on the Browns. This one in Cleveland. This is interesting to me, Matt, because if you're playing just the spread, not just straight winner, outside of last week and week 1, the Browns traditionally have been able to hang around. They find a way to lose, but they're able to hang around and keep it close. Do you take the points with the Cardinals?
No. You've got number 1 scoring offense, a top 4 defense. They're top 5 in every category, total, rush, and pass. And we are really one-dimensional right now with an ailing quarterback in Josh McCown. And they have the second-best rusher in the league against the worst rush defense in the league. There's no way I don't take the Cardinals in this one.
I'm going to take the Cardinals as the straight-up winner, which on sportsinteraction.com pays $1.38. But if I'm playing the spread, I think at home the Browns are going to prove something. I think they will lose, but lose less than 5.5. So I'm going to take the Browns on the points, pays out $1.95. Also interesting, the over-under 46.5. Cards defense, as you said, is good, Matt, but Browns have found a way, outside of last week again, to put up some numbers and really get into shootout. So I might even take the over there as far as the points go overall in 46.5. So
I'd take the over just because Arizona's playing. Arizona's got some legitimate talent at wide receiver.
Carson Palmer.
Scary good talent. And then they've got a pretty darn good tight end and one really good quarterback slinging it. He moved into 20th place on the all-time yardage list in the NFL last week.
Really?
I don't think anybody would have predicted Carson Palmer would be that.
Nope.
after all the injuries that he's battled through. But I mean, that shows you how really